fucking trash day. And I'm trying to freaking do a review on a documentary that I had the honors to go to a premiere for. I hope my microphone's not picking this up. So today I'm going to be reviewing a documentary that I had the honors of being able to go to when it came to the premiere of this documentary. The premiere was held at the Frida Cinema. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're going to know. I had an opportunity to go see Attack of the Doc, which was directed by Chris Gore, former co-host of Attack of the Show back in the day on G4 TV. He had his own little segment called DVD Tuesday, and he would do a little other things on the show as well. And he made a documentary going into the rise of Attack of the Show. I mean, there's even a little bit where he was talking about G4 TV and how G4 came to be, and how at some point G4 TV merged with Tech TV. And dude, this documentary was really cool, man. I felt so honored to be able to actually go there and watch this movie alongside with Chris Gore and people from G4 TV. It brought back so much memories from around that time when G4 was in its prime. I remember watching G4 back in the day at an old house I used to live in, and how they used to have like Portal, Cheat, Blister, Filter, frickin'. I know there was a bunch of other shows that I can't think of at the moment, but I mean, dude, like, it was really good television back in the day. It was just literally TV meant for gamers. Like, doesn't matter if you were a casual gamer or a hardcore gamer. They had shows about everything. Portal was one of my favorites, just because it was a TV show that was about online RPGs, where you had like EverQuest, which was one game that I really wanted to play as a kid. Second Life was even showed in this TV show, where there was like actual characters that this guy would talk to and interact with, and trying to figure out, what was going on around in these games. I'm really hoping the trash truck isn't picking up on my mic, because I really, really, it's trash day and I'm trying to make this work. But nonetheless, yeah, Attack of the Doc. Great stuff. I know while I was watching this documentary, at some point I was able to actually pinpoint when I actually tuned out as a viewer, and it was around the time Comic-Con was starting to get really big, and I had a hard time getting into Comic-Con just because how big it was getting coverage on when it comes to not just Attack of the Show, but other outlets. Like, it was just the spot to be. And I started to get a little resentful because I didn't like how overly exposed it was getting. So I started to tune out of G4. And then I really tuned out when Olivia Munn left. I mean, I remember sometimes coming home from work and throwing on G4 TV. And apparently around that time, their set for Attack of the Show had shrunk down drastically to the point where it was like a small room compared to what it used to be back in the day, which was, it looked like a decent sized studio. And it was just, it felt, sad, especially when it came to the television lineup that they had following all that stuff, where like the majority of the time it was either cops, cheaters, or I want to say MXC, but I don't think it was MXC. I think it was that other weird obstacle course game. I know they try to make their own original, shows that were similar, but it's just it wasn't like how it used to be. When it came to it, just focusing on its one demographic core and giving that demographic what they wanted, which was video games and tech. And it was really nice being able to see all this in a documentary, really nicely put together. The production team that was behind this was really cool. I was able to have some drinks with them, and it brought back a lot of really good memories, man. Still this day, I'm still really honored that Chris Gore gives that opportunity to the general public to go to his events that he hosts. I mean, Award This is one of them, and wasn't able to go. I guess you can say this year, because this year's was held in January, but I'm definitely going to try to go next year. But I know I went in 2023, and that was definitely one of my most memorable, favorite memories. Being able to be elbows to elbows with industry people who are all independent films, and being able to mingle with Cris and Alan, from Film Threat, and even seeing a bunch of other people who I've seen on YouTube when it comes to their live streams. Like, pretty sure Dante was there, Poly Latino Slant was there. As much as I could try to remember, I got pretty hammered that evening, and I hope I didn't make a fool out of myself, but it was fun nonetheless. I want to say at some point, while hanging out with them, there were some chicks who kept on saying I looked like low key, because at the time my hair was really long and slicked back, and yeah, and Chris Gore even agreed that I looked like low key in some sense, but nonetheless, highly recommend it. Attack of the Duck should be on a lot of streaming platforms. Last I watched it, it was on Tubi. I know it's on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon, and it is one of my favorite documentaries. I mean, that's just not me being, it is me being a fanboy. But I don't know, man. I mean, it's good. I mean, they go so deep into the whole research of G4 and how it came into be and how it failed, and how they tried to bring it back and it failed horribly. And now it's kind of just history, and luckily they have a lot of their old episodes on YouTube. I'll try to provide the link in the description. And yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of G4 TV back in the day, I highly recommend this documentary. And I don't know how many times I'll keep on recommending this documentary, because it's awesome. I know there's some haters out there who trash on it just because of how G4 used to be back in the day, and that's what the general public wants. We want TV like that isn't afraid to do skits that are really controversial. There was a skit that they did back in the day of Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn, where they put on fat suits and proceeded to eat a bunch of stuff while they were on scooters, like little shopping cart scooters that you typically see fat people ride around in. Or how Olivia Munn would, the infamous sketch where she stuffed a bunch of hot dogs in her mouth. They weren't afraid to be able to be over the top when it came to their programming, and they weren't afraid to do stuff that was out of the norm. It was literally them trying to push the limits on a lot of stuff. I know that in the documentary, they talk about how there was a segment on Attack of the Show where they would go and try to pick up cougars at a bar in the Valley in LA, and how that kind of backfired on them, and that they got the G4 TV got in trouble for it. That I believe landed into a lawsuit because this woman saw herself on TV and she was unaware that she was being filmed for entertainment. But But yeah, no, it's some good stuff. There's even a really good, awesome, musical number in it by Zach. Can't think of his last name at the moment, but pretty much it's a little like country jingle where it's like you can't do that on TV. You can't do that anymore, kind of thing. And it's good. It's some good stuff. It's chef's kiss on that shit. And at this point, I feel like now I'm just rambling about why you should watch it, and you should watch it, and you better watch it because this documentary is good. Good. So good. Okay. Peace.